Hi, I'm Jonathan Knight, and this is B-Movie Madness. I haven't done a video in a while. Last thing I did was Robot Ninja review. I actually tried to shoot this video last night, and the audio was really screwed up. I don't know why. Hopefully everything's fixed now. But enough of that. This is my April and May DVD/Blu-ray purchase review. I'm combining them into one because I didn't do April yet, and it's the end of May basically. So, I'm going to do the DVDs first, and then the Blu-rays. So hopefully, this comes out right. The first one is from American Film Genre Archive and Bleeding Skull, great website, is Ninja Zombie, which is a shot-on Super 8 movie that was unreleased. It was filmed in 1992, but unreleased until, I think, last year. It's a lot of fun. It's not as fun as I thought it would be, but it still is a lot of fun. It's not as gory as I thought it would be, but it still has some good gore. It's a fun story. The zombie makeup's really good. If you are a fan of crazy B-movie shenanigans, check this one out. This one I'm thinking about doing a full-on review for, so I probably won't talk about it for too long. And this is from American Film Genre Film Archive and Bleeding Skull. This is the shot-on-video movie, Bleeding Skull, Blood Lake. I'm a huge, anyone knows me, I'm a huge shot-on-video fan. And this is quickly jumping to the top of my favorites list. I just absolutely love this movie. I think it's so much fun to watch. It's horrible, it's an awful movie, but it's just so, like, it's so weird. It's like hypnotizing almost when I watch it. And Little Tony's one of the greatest characters of all time. But again, I'm going to do a full review for this. So, but if you're a shot-on-video fan and you haven't watched this, blind buy this. I think it's fairly cheap. That's it for the DVDs. As for the Blu-rays, last purchase video I mentioned about I need to get Slaughter High. Well, guess what? My ass got Slaughter High. You ever seen Slaughter High? It's a 1986 slasher set on April Fool's. So if you need another April Fool's Day slasher, check this one out. It's a nerd gets revenge movie about these punk kids that, end up horribly burning this nerd with acid, and like a decade later, like for the high school reunion, he gets them all together in the abandoned high school and starts to kill them one by one. And his outfit's cool. It's like a jester's hat, an old man mask, and like a Letterman jacket. That and the kills are the best thing about this movie. I absolutely love the kills of this movie. The only thing I'm slightly iffy about, is the ending. I don't want to spoil it, but it's one of those endings that I really just don't like when movies do it, because it feels like I wasted my time. But I think everything about this movie makes up for it, that I just don't let it bother me that much anymore. Now, when I first saw it, I was kind of pissy about it. But speaking of which, another 1980s slasher movie, and that is Slaughterhouse. I don't know why I said it like that, but we'll see. Slaughterhouse is about a 1987 slasher movie about this slaughterhouse slaughterhouse that's going under. This crooked lawyer, this elder slaughterhouse owner, and the sheriff. They're trying to kick him off the property so they can buy it. So he has the guy who owns the slaughterhouse. He gets his son Buddy, who's this big old guy, this dude right here on the cover, to start killing off them one by one. But also some pesky teenagers are trying to, do teenage things on this property, and they have to die too. But what makes this movie so much fun is Buddy Bacon right here, the killer. He's so much fun to watch, and the kills, although they're not extremely bloody, they're bloody enough to satisfy me. And it just has that really great 1987 look to it, like, the mid-80s to the late 80s. So if you haven't seen this movie and you love slasher movies, I love slasher movies. If there's a 1980s slasher movie I haven't seen and it's released on Blu-ray, I will do anything to get it. Not anything, but I will buy it. But I love Slaughterhouse. I highly recommend this one. Okay, we'll switch things up a little bit. How about a sex comedy? This is 1982's The Beach Girls, about a girl who she's away from school. She's, at her uncle's summer home. She invites her two friends, college friends, over, and a party happens. And the party starts getting out of control. There's a subplot about marijuana being, washed up on the beach. And about it. And as a subplot, this feels like filler, but it does come together at the end. If you love 1980s sex comedies like I do, highly recommend this one. Yes, there is lots and lots of boobs, but there's also a very catchy theme song, and just an overall sense of fun that you don't really get with comedies anymore. And okay, not to change. Well, another 1980s slasher movie. 1983 is The House on Sorority Row, which most people probably have heard of because it's a fairly common slasher movie. This is the 2018 Blu-ray. It has a better picture quality than the 2014 one. If you've never, seen this before, it's about a sorority prank gone wrong and causes the house mother to die. And when the sorority girls are having a party that night because they're covering up the murder by hiding the body, someone starts killing off one by one. Who could it be? I'm not going to spoil, but if you've seen that movie, you know what's going on. This actually had a remake that came out about 10 years ago. It's fairly good. The story's interesting. The twist is pretty cool. It's set up early on in the movie, but it makes later on you're more clear about what's going on. The kills are fairly good. They're not super bloody, but they're satisfying enough. And much like Slaughter High, the only thing that bothers me about it is the ending. Well, the ending's different than the one from Slaughter High. This one's more like it's very abrupt. It feels like there should be more to it, and there isn't. I found out that there was a longer ending that was filmed but cut by the producers, and so it makes sense why it feels incomplete. But if you've never seen this before, highly recommend it. I actually didn't mind the remake either, but this one's definitely the superior of the two movies. You like cheese? I love cheese. How about the uninvited? It's just uninvited, not the uninvited. Vinegar Syndrome. At it again. This is a 1987, we call it horror comedy. The comedy's unintentional in my opinion, though. About this cat who's been experimented on by, when the research kind of people, they experiment on the cat, and this mutated cat creature comes out of it and starts killing people. At the same time, there's this multi-millionaire who is has a cruise ship. He's going off to get money somewhere, and he allows these girls on his boat, and the girls, unknown to him, invite guys on there, and ultimately they become trapped on the cruise ship together, or the ship together with the cat, who is killing them off one by one. Very cheese-tastic. Believe it or not, the movie is rated PG-13, but it's extremely gory. Not extremely gory, but it's really gory for PG-13. Clu Gulager and George Kennedy are in this, and they're a lot of fun, especially Clu Gulager because he has these goofy teeth. The mutated cat puppet is cheesy as all hell, but it's so much fun to watch. There's also a international cut on this Blu-ray. The picture quality is not as good. That has a far superior ending, so I recommend watching them both. The ending to this, the cut that's in full HD is good, but it's more satisfying in the international cut. Highly recommend this. Highly recommend anything. Change things up again. How about some Cannon cheese? Exterminator. Not one, not two. Well, yeah, two, but not three, because there's no third one. Cannon did not make the first movie. That was made by a completely different company. And although I would say the first one is the much superior movie, I find number two the more entertaining movie. It's very cheesy. It reminds me a lot of Cannon's own Death Wish 3, which is my favorite Cannon movie. Also one of my favorite movies pretty much at all time. It's a movie that was notoriously reshot and rewritten. Film doctor William Sachs, who's also the director of The Incredible Melting Man, he's a guy most companies bring in to fix a movie. Cannon was not happy with the original cut of this movie, so he came in and he reshot the ending. He reshot this right here. There's only maybe one tiny scene in the original cut of him with the welder's mask and the torch. William Sachs added all that stuff using a double. And this is my favorite stuff in the movie. And he reshot the ending, which the original ending does not sound nearly as fun or satisfying. The ending to this one is great. Lots of violence. Robert Ginty, he's okay. Frankie Faison, he's fun. Marvin Peebles as X, the main villain, he's a lot of fun too. This is just a good old-fashioned over-the-top action movie. Some great action. I like whenever they take trucks and they add guns to them, because that's what you do with trucks. It's a lot of fun. I would like to see the original cut one day, but I don't think it exists anymore. I don't think anyone's really asking for it either. So, we'll never probably see it. Another slasher movie, the 1981 slasher Just Before Dawn. I rented this from Netflix about maybe a decade ago when I had Netflix, when I was doing the DVDs by mail. And I was really underwhelmed with it. I thought it was boring. Don't know what I was thinking, because I bought this and rewatched it, and it was actually a lot of fun. The characters were extremely likable. The twist involving the killer was really well done. I liked how they revealed that. The kills, although there's not a lot of them, are well done. There's a really good knife into the groin kill, which is always fun. Excuse me. And the ending is great. How the killer is dispatched is unusual, but pretty cool. So, yeah, the cast is really great and likable. George Kennedy's in this one, just like he was in Uninvited. Greg Henry, who's been in a lot of James Gunn stuff, is really good in this. Brad Fiddel's score, he's the same guy that did the Terminator 1, 2, and Fright Night 1 and 2. Underrated composer that you don't really hear about anymore. I don't think he's doing movies anymore. His score is fantastic. It's one of my favorite slasher scores after listening to it. And just the movie has a good look and feel to it. It's really creepy. They really shoot the photography in this is just amazing. How they shot the woods. Very creepy. Probably one of the best backwoods horror movies I've ever seen. And there's a lot of them. Not going to really talk about this one much because I reviewed it last month, and that's Robot Ninja. Check out my review for that. It's not a bad review in my opinion. That's another one I had to reshoot, but it's a good movie. This one right here. Okay, there's one I gotta take care of. The Street Fighter collection. When I first started getting into Blu-ray, one of the movies, my most requested titles, was at least the first Street Fighter movie. So when Shout Factory was like, we're not just putting out the first one, we're doing 1, 2, and 3, I was like, fuck yes, I could not wait. Thank God that they did this. I rewatched all 3 movies. The first one's still great. Deserves its X rating. Extremely violent, but so much fun. Sonny Chiba is so much fun. I actually prefer the English, though, just because it adds to the fun. But the Japanese is there for the people who need it. Or not need it, want it. Return of the Street Fighter, I've only seen once and actually really enjoyed that one. It does suffer from... There's a good, maybe 20-minute chunk of the movie where Sonny Chiba is not in the movie, and it suffers for it, but for the most part, it's just almost as entertaining as the first one. Third one, on the other hand, is a huge disappointment. I didn't hate it. I shouldn't say huge. I was mixed about it. It's not nearly as violent as the first two, not even in the uncut version they included here. It's really tame compared to those, and it's missing that, what made the first two so watchable is kind of, I want to say boring, but just forgettable. Sonny Chiba's great in it, as usual. The third movie is The Street Fighter's Last Revenge. Second one's Return of the Street Fighter. I highly recommend the first movie and the second movie, but especially the first movie. The third movie, if you get the set, you might as well watch it. But I love this collection. All the HD transfer on all 3 movies, especially the first 2, looks fantastic. The uncut version of the third movie is a mix of HD and standard def, so it's one of those transfers. I'm trying to find... Where is it? Okay, there it is. I'm going to do these 2 together, and I'll tell you why. Grandmother's House and Dark Room. I ordered this on Amazon, and I got this, Dark Room, and I was going to send it back, but it says it is the sleazy and creative American take on the giallo as filtered through 80s slasher films. It's like, fuck yeah, I gotta watch that. And I watched this movie maybe 2 weeks ago, and I cannot remember one damn thing about it. And I remember watching it, I remember little bits of everything. And I was paying attention to it, but could not get into it. It was just really forgettable. And Grandmother's House, I was really disappointed. I was really looking forward to this movie. It's about 2 kids. Their father died and their mother's already passed away. So they go to live with their grandparents, and then one night the grandson sees their grandfather and grandmother carrying a body or something like that, and he starts to investigate what's going on. And then he starts seeing a mysterious woman following him around. And that's a really good setup. but the movie feels really, really, really unbelievably bland. It almost feels like one of those bland PG-13 thrillers that came out in the 2000s to the 2010s, maybe, like something like The Roommate. Just really bland. It feels like it doesn't go far enough with anything. It could have been more violent. It could have been more intense. It could have been sleazier. Because there's 2 twists in the movie. The first one is extremely obvious, and I was really disappointed how predictable the first twist. And the second twist could have been really sleazy. It's right at the end of the movie, but it just comes across as, like it could have been sleazier. It could have been sexier. It could have been more violent. And it's just overall both of these movies, which were both produced by Nico Mastorakis, who did The Zero Boys, which I quite enjoy, and both these movies are just kind of forgettable. The last couple ones are The Suckling, Vinegar Syndrome, and again, they also did the last 2 I just did. This is one that's been on my watch list for years, and I just keep on, forgetting to watch it, and then Vinegar Syndrome put it on Blu-ray, and I'm like, well, guess what? It looks like they're really pushing up the top of my list. It deals with some kind of touchy, subject matter, understandably touchy. It's about a abortion clinic / brothel, and the fetus they flush down to the sewer. I don't mean to laugh. It's just insane that somebody thought this was, somebody actually did this. Flush it down the sewer, and the toxic waste ends up mutating into a monster, and ends up trapping all the people, including all the prostitutes and all the Johns and all the people who are there to get aborted or get their abortion. Traps them in this house and starts killing them off one by one. The thing is, with this subject matter, I thought this movie would be a hell of a lot sleazier, and even though it was sleazy, it felt more like a trauma movie sleazy, which to me is not as sleazy as sleazy sleaze, I don't know what I mean by that. But it's actually an entertaining monster movie. If you remove the abortion aspect from it, it's just a good old-fashioned monster movie. And the monster is actually really cool. I thought the effects for it were really well done. There's some pretty cool gore, too. So if you remove the whole abortion thing from it, you just got a good old-fashioned 80s monster movie. But even with the subject matter, it feels almost like a trauma movie. In fact, there's a couple trauma people involved in this, so it makes sense because I think they filmed it in New York, New Jersey area. But I highly recommend The Suckling just if you like monster movies, like I do. Okay, this has been on. I think this has been on a lot of people's we must have this on Blu-ray a list for a while, and that's The Brain. Scream Factory heard our prayers, and they said, yes, we are going to deliver The Brain to you. If you've never seen The Brain, Brain is a 1988 horror movie about a alien brain creature teaming up with this doctor to take over people's minds through television, and ultimately this teenage boy who is sent to the clinic because he's troubled finds out what's going on. He tries, along with his girlfriend, to stop the alien brain creature and the doctor once and for all. David Gale is the doctor. He's one of the main villains in the movie. David Gale is such a good villain actor. I just love him as a villain. He's so good. Reanimator, Bride of Reanimator, a million other movies. The Guyver. Guyver, yeah. The brain creature is awesome. It's good old-fashioned practical effects. I think it looks awesome. There's some pretty decent gore. The cast is great. One of the main bad guy actors is George. Sorry, I'm gonna butcher his name. Buza. He was the voice of Beast on the X-Men cartoon, and he's been in so much stuff. I remember seeing him in a lot of stuff. I remember him from the X-Men doing the voice, and he was also one of the neighbor character in the Honey We Shrunk the Kids TV show. He was what the neighbor character was in the first movie. He played that character in the TV show. Looks completely different than another actor, but The Brain is so good, packed with special features. 3 commentary tracks, 3 interviews, a love of The Brain featurette, interviewing a fan. I love fan stuff because the guy who actually was a fan of this, he really hunted down all the shit for this movie. He went to the locations. I haven't listened to the commentary tracks yet, but the interviews were really good. I need to listen to the commentary tracks because I love commentary, and I love this movie. Yeah, Scream Factory just, they rescued that movie. Last and certainly never least is Hard Ticket to motherfucking Hawaii. Now, I added the motherfucking to it. It's just Hard Ticket to Hawaii. And this is one of the 12 movies that Andy Sedaris did from, I think, 85 to 98, maybe 2098. He released like a large group of movies that were basically called the Bullets, Boobs, and Bombs collection. I think it had another name as well. I've heard two different names for it. And they're movies that feature a lot of Playboy playmates, getting naked, blowing up shit. They're all set in Hawaii for the most part, and they're always just ridiculously dumb and fun. I shouldn't say they're dumb, they're just ridiculously fun. And this one is about two undercover federal agents played by Playboy playmates. They after accidentally freeing a mutant killer snake, they discover a cache of diamonds that unleashes a smuggler's henchman after him. Listen to that plot. Two Playboy playmates play two federal agents, undercover agents, who free a killer mutant snake, and they find a cache of diamonds belonging to a smuggler. So not only do they have to face the snake, they have to face the smuggler's henchman. Now that's a lot of fucked up shit happening in one movie. Fucked up shit. Did I say fucked up shit? And yes, because they're Playboy playmates, there's lots of boobs in this movie. Lots of boobs. A lot of fantastic boobs. There's a hot tub sequence in that movie that has more character development than pretty much any movie ever made. I'm not kidding you. And the snake is a hilariously cheesy rubber puppet, and I love every second this thing is on screen. There's a part in the movie where it pops out of a toilet. Not only does it pop out of the toilet, it makes the rest of the toilet shatter. Because it wants to fuck shit up. Because they've been feeding it cancer-infested rats, so it kills people and gives them cancer, even though that doesn't make a lick of sense, but it makes a lick of sense in this movie. There's also a scene where a blow-it-up doll, it gets blown up by a rocket. It gets blown up by a rocket launcher. The poor thing probably just been blown up for a day or two, and then it just gets blown up by this son of a bitch. It's really sad. It's really, really horribly sad. But all of Andy Sedaris movies are like this. They're all, like I said, filmed in Hawaii. They're all kind of ridiculously fun. This is the only one I think that has something as batshit insane as a mutant snake that's been eating cancer-infested rats. 'Tis is the life. So that's why I think Hard Ticket to Hawaii is probably his most popular of the 12 movies. He's actually directed 14 movies. He did 2 movies in the 70s, Stacy and 7, which I think 7 is, I like it almost as much as I like this. But I think this one was the most entertaining. Mill Creek did Malibu Express, which is the first movie in the series, and this is the second. They did these two. And in July, they're releasing Picasso Trigger and Savage Beach. So it looks like they're going to be releasing the whole entire Sedaris collection. And this was remastered in 4K widescreen. The American Film Genre Archive, they're the ones that remastered it. It looks fantastic. It was filmed in Hawaii, so there's beautiful locations. So, do I recommend this? I recommend, yes, if you love stuff like Samurai Cop or Miami Connection or Deadly Prey, highly recommend checking this out. Hopefully this goes well. I plan on doing Blood Lake soon. I just want to get that out of the way because I have a lot to talk about that movie. But if you like my channel, give me a thumbs up, subscribe. If you don't like my channel, comment, let me know, or just recommend stuff or just want to chat, just comment. I'm Jonathan Knight, and this has been B-Movie Madness. Thanks for watching.